Hello everyone, my name is Elynn and welcome back to another episode of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. So I know it's been a very long while since the first episode. It's just been taking so long because I will periodically log into this world for about 10 minutes and that's it. And I haven't logged in for ages because I have something else on the go. I don't know if that will be out. I don't know if that will be out by the time this video comes up. We'll see. If you can hear any background noise, my kitten is being a menace at the moment. I suppose she's not really a kitten anymore. As you can see, I've done some bits for the yellow brick road and started some wheat. This wheat needs to go all the way. I am not looking forward to this because it's just, it's going to be mental. I think that's why I've just sort of not been doing it, because it's going to take a stupid amount of time. But anyway, let me show you. This was on a short that I did, but it wasn't in the video. As you can see, this is the only house that has a door, and so I thought, why not put something inside it. These textures, as well as the yellow brick road, it's just slabs. I've got a resource pack that makes, when you put slabs like that, it changes the texture. This is acacia. Got a map that I need to update, actually. I thought that was very cute. There's nothing. Oh, there is something in this barrel. So this armor is there, and then is that armor somewhere? Yes, this armor is there. I just thought, why not make some cute little armor things, and then, you know, if I end up doing a world download, you can come in and do this. I don't know how the world download will work with my data packs though, but that's for me to find out later. I have done some of the Scarecrow's area. Well, I've done the soul part of the Scarecrow's area. I just need to extend it. There's hills and stuff in the background that I need to do, but you can see you've got the lever, because she pulls the lever down and he falls off and starts slipping about and sliding and singing and doing the splits in the road. And I just thought this area is quite cool. But because in the film, the crops, it's a lot taller than wheat. I don't know if I would have been able to do full cornfields. I don't know how that would have worked in Minecraft, but I think I like this idea more, of the occasional taller one and different one and stuff, and then I'll keep doing that, so it's, it feels a bit more full, because it feels a bit empty right now. But as soon as all this is done, it'll be very nice. I want to start on the apples. There's an apple forest, and Dorothy picks one of the apples and it slaps her, because how would you feel if somebody came up and started picking fruit off you? And I believe the Wicked Witch is actually in that scene. I'm going to extend the road. So basically, I have this data pack with the chisel tool, and it removes... it replaces the block that you right click with the block that is to the right of it in the hotbar, which for this is amazing, because otherwise I'd have to... And this is just so much quicker. So I need to know which direction Dorothy and the Scarecrow actually go on the path, because obviously, as you can see, there are 3 different options, and I don't know if they end up just going straight forward. They might do, but I have a feeling that they turn left, and I couldn't find a clip of The Wizard of Oz, so I have my DVD and I'm gonna put it in my laptop and skip to the part, see if I can watch it. Okay, it took a while to get my DVD working, but as I thought, they do turn left, and it's mainly just kind of fields around, and then when they eventually get to the apple tree forest, that is where they meet the Tin Man. Immediately after, they get lots and lots of apples thrown at them. That's going to be very fun to build. Oh, I love this film so much. I grew up watching it, and at one point I had so many different versions of it, and I don't mean the Judy Garland Wizard of Oz, I mean the story. I had so many just different interpretations and versions of it. Like, I had The Wiz, where Michael Jackson plays the Scarecrow. Is it Diana Ross who plays Dorothy? It's a very interesting version of it. I also had Return to Oz. Return to Oz is a great film. A bit freaky for a kid's film, but it's got a very fun history because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg actually, for a few days each, took over the directing because the set, there was like issues with producers and directors being fired, and yeah, they basically just kind of directed it sort of in protest. They were like, we'll do this until you bring the fired director back. Oh, it's such a good film. It's just a really fun version, I think. I like the darkness of it. I like a lot that it's not as, you know, happy and fun as The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the film. Then I also had like animated versions and stuff of like Dorothy's Return to Oz, and it wasn't Return to Oz. It was like an animated short of like her going back to Oz, and I don't know, I don't know how many I had, but I had like these bookshelf blocks from IKEA, and they were like squares, right? One of them, because that's where I stored all my DVDs. I had so many. This was at my dad's house, and I'm not in contact with my dad anymore, so I don't have access to these, and I think he's moved out anyway, so probably sold all my stuff. In fact, I know he's sold all my stuff. But I was able to recover some of my things, including the original Wizard of Oz DVD, the remastered version, so there's no Hanging Munchkin in mine. I feel like I probably will end up talking about that in this series, just because how could I not? I know that people are they're gonna talk about it, they're gonna ask about it, even though it's kind of a non-story. In all honesty, it's just like, it's interesting, but at the same time, we know that it isn't actually someone who's hanged themselves on the set. And furthermore, if it was, it would be incredibly disrespectful to make such remarks about them and kind of view their suicide as like a, you know, oh, look at this, you can watch it, you know. It's just kind of, I don't know, it would feel very disrespectful if that were the case, but thankfully we know that it was not in fact a person. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the scene, actually coming up to the scene, because in this build, because it's right after they meet the Tin Man, they walk away from the house after the Wicked Witch of the West has just thrown a fireball at them, and in the distance in front of them it looks like there is someone hanging from the tree. As in, like, hanging, right? And then when people caught on, the studio were like, no, it's a crane bird, it's a crane. Because it was just such this big conspiracy, and it also brought up conversations of how people were horribly mistreated on set, including the actors who played the Munchkins, because of their difference, right? It was a way less tolerant time. Judy Garland was treated horribly for being a woman. The people who played the Munchkins were treated horrible for, you know, having a disability. It was a very taboo time. You know, the studio, they didn't really want that fire, right? So they ended up releasing a remastered version. I'm not entirely sure which year that came out. In this remastered version, it is very clearly a bird. Like, they've completely removed any remnants of, you know, the hanging munchkin, and it is most definitely a bird now. And also, the remastered version just kind of upped the saturation a bit, made it a bit brighter, made it a bit more fun, because they really didn't want people thinking that someone had killed themselves in the production. And so, as I said in the first episode, I feel like I can't really do a build like this and not talk about, you know, the gross mistreatment of just so many people on set. It was an awful time, and ultimately it did indirectly lead to Judy Garland's death, because they just had her so drugged up on all these different like pills to make her stay awake, because she was very young, right? She was a lot younger than me, they didn't have the same laws that we do now, in the sense that, like, if you're under 16 you can't work a certain amount of hours, if you're under 18, you know, stuff like that. The studio weren't very nice to her, and the studio kind of used her for money and fame and gain, and so did her mum. Just kind of no one really helped her out when they really should have. She really should have been protected by so many people who just utterly failed her. Her life story is very, very sad. And as I said, a lot of it does come from The Wizard of Oz, because in her early career in Hollywood, she was, I believe, what was her nickname? It was something about being a pig, right? It was like it was horrible and just blatantly untrue. She was the ugly one, the fat one, you know, which, first of all, that is just not true. Look at her. Secondly, that is a horrible, like, that is gross, right? To be, not just to be called that by like one person, but to actually have your career and foundation built on that. She was massively overworked. It was just not very nice. And then in her later life, she was accused of being like a sex addict, a drug addict. Like, it's just all these things that, true or not, she needed help, not criticism. Just opened my inventory to put the chisel back, and that is a lot of dirt. Oh my god. I should mention that in the film, it's instead of like a, you know, like a fence, for the most part, it's a little grey curb, but I want to keep it a fence because I want to keep it consistent, because, you know, in the films there's like breaks in the set and stuff, so they can change it and get away with it because it just looks like it's a different place. But because this is all fluid, I would like to keep it one thing, and in the Scarecrow's thing, it's a white fence, because it's all kind of breaking apart and just sort of not very well kept up. And I quite like how the white fence looks anyway. There's a lot of creative liberty in this world, as it's quite hard to just recreate something in Minecraft, especially as I do not have world edit at the moment. I should note that I am going to do a curb here, just because, like on this block, just because it makes far more sense for the logistics of the scene, because there's, the fence sort of ends in my head. It just makes more sense to do it like this, and I think it's going to be a lot easier to do it like that as well. I've changed my mind. I'm not going to do a curve for this part. As you can see, I changed the biome to Badlands because I wanted the grass to be a bit darker. You can see down there very slightly. It doesn't quite mix as well with the moss as I thought it would, which is fine. So I'm just changing all this right now, and I'll show you the curb situation in just a moment. I do quite like the very subtle gradients. They're very cool. So here for the curb situation, I kept a bit of the stony colour with some tough slabs and some pale moss, because it's kind of like very brown where they are. There's, you know, the packed mud and the coarse dirt, and then the grass here, and then I'm going to make some like very tiny little sort of cliff shaped mountains, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, but there isn't much brown on the other side, so it's mainly going to be green blocks. It's going to be quite green. I'm very bad at custom trees, so this is going to be so much fun. I need to get wood rather than logs, actually, don't I? Right, so I have the skeleton of one tree. Maybe this needs to go there. I feel like it's fine. With the leaves, it should be fine. Right, so I have some bare trees here. I think I did all of them. I'm going to put some leaves on them. I think I'm going to use azalea leaves. I'll very occasionally throw in a flowering azalea. Even though it's not red, I feel like I could probably get away with saying it's apples. I think on the skeletons, I think I did a decent job. This is going to be very tricky. Let's see. So I didn't quite know how to do the faces, and I had an idea. I don't know if this is going to work. Not really, right? I'd say that doesn't work. What about if it's on this one? If it's on the oak? No, still doesn't work. I'll think on it. Okay, so I've done a lot of off-camera work. Also, some of my footage just like didn't record, which is great. Basically, I've started the other side, sort of building it up as well slightly because it is on a slope. I've added lots of apples, some magma creams just because, you know, different colours of apples. I am not finishing all of this in one go. I was so ambitious with that first episode with all of Munchkin Land. This, oh my god, it's been taking so long just because it's so tedious. Like all this, the fences, they're so tedious to place. The leaves, oh my god. I'm gonna have a little break from this, but I will show you what I've been doing. So as you can see, there's different little patches of like different biomes just because I thought the different colour grass looks nice. And also here, I wanted to make it, I'm pretty sure this is Badlands. Yeah, Badlands, because obviously this bit is quite brown and muddy. And, you know, the brown grass, it worked quite well. And then there's a lot of cherry patches all over the place because it's quite bright. Sorry, my dog is barking. I am not concerned that these biome patches are just in rectangles because once there's stuff built up on them and as you can see all the stuff ingrained in them, it really won't matter. There's some loads of different bits over here. I am slowly but surely getting this wheat done. Every time I come on, I do a bit of the yellow brick road and I do a bit of the wheat. Oh my god, it's going to take a very long time, but that's alright. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's very long overdue. Hopefully my next episode will not take nearly as long, but we will see. So that is it, as I said, for this video. Very much hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping by the next episode I will have this bit done and then I can start focusing on the area where the Tin Man is, which will be very fun. Also, this that I have been wearing on my head is a hard hat. It basically means that I can interact with blocks 2 blocks further away than usual. So as you can see, +2 block interaction range. So if I show you, whoa, I can go here with the block interactions, but then I can't and I have to come here, which I think is brilliant. I think that's great. It's so useful as well for this project. It's ridiculously useful. Make sure to go and watch episode 1 if you haven't, and that is all about Munchkin Land, which is so much fun. That was really fun to do because obviously starting a project is always quite fun. Next episode will likely be longer and, as I said, hopefully won't take as long to come out.